بلاد الشام اذهب شري توعية واحد اثنين اسمع لما معصب ما بجرب عاملك واصطادك مثل فيش مع محاول خلقي فيش ما تقلي فيش.
My name is Tom Richmond. I am the frontman for Candlelight Welding Club, the band, but really we're more of an entertainment platform, if you will. We like to showcase artists, and that's what we're going to do tonight. So I'm going to introduce you to some very special guests. Okay, this is Assasi. Assasi, it sounds like assassin to me. You are a lyrical killer out there, I know that.
Thank you, yeah, it's assassin without the N. So
yeah, that's how I remember it, because honestly, I won't lie, we've struggled with the name. Mm-hmm. And this is Steph. So you guys are sometimes a musical duo, and you guys are a romantic partnership.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're married as heck.
You're married as heck. Okay.
Yeah, we've been married.
So we've
for
got
5
that
years.
established.
Yeah.
You guys have been married 5 years.
Yes.
Congratulations. It
Thank
seems
you.
like you guys are pretty happy. So, Assasi, great rapper. I've listened to your
Thank
stuff
you.
for the last couple days here in preparation for meeting with you, and it's like unbelievable. But seriously, your music's great, and also the videos are really good. Really good, you know, like, looks like that is from MTV, you know. I think the story or where you're going with it, like your purpose, I think that is the most compelling part of your thing. So you're from?
I'm from Allepo.
Allepo,
so
and is that
I grew
in
up
Syria?
in Allepo, yeah, in Syria.
Okay.
I grew up in Allepo for 23 years, and then I decided to be independent and go on my own. And so I did military service back in Syria. I'm a veteran.
Wow, I wondered. I saw one picture with him in a uniform. He looked pretty good. He looked like Rambo, like Syrian Rambo. You look good.
I tried to look good.
I saw one picture on there where you look like a guy on one of those, you know, GQ things too.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be weird. But you still have a washboard stomach, or was that just when you were in the army, or?
Yeah, no, I don't have the abs anymore. Sadly.
Oh, well, that's sad. What is going on?
But I'm working on it to get them back.
So I think you're working so hard that maybe it's hard to do the summertime tans on, you know, and the weightlifting on the beach or whatever. You've been really, really busy.
My journey is like I started doing music as an early age, like writing. So I've been writing now for 20 years-ish.
And how old are you now?
I'm 32.
32.
Yeah, so I started at the age of 12. Like writing.
20 years, okay.
Yeah, and at school I didn't like school because the concept of studying in there is like more than feeding you information, and you have to memorize it more than explaining these information.
Okay, yeah.
And I was always distracted, and I was into basketball. So I started playing basketball professionally, and it didn't go well.
What?
And it was just because stupid, like we have even corruption in sports in there. So
oh my
like
gosh.
if you know someone from the club, they chose an overweighted player over me just to put him there because his father works in the club. From basketball, I got introduced to hip hop, and actually when I was a kid growing up, I was like just fascinated by Michael Jackson music, and that's the reason why I got into hip hop to start with, and into like other languages, you know, like English. I didn't know the words. I was just like mumbling.
Oh my
Michael
gosh.
Jackson all the time.
A light bulb. Listen.
The other night with
I was doing it the other night with my brother.
Like, remember how I used to sing Michael Jackson when I didn't know English? Blah, 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 blah,
Yeah, it's just like not knowing the words and just mumbling
Making
what
them
I'm
up.
hearing.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I that's how I started, and I used like to save my money to go buy the cassettes. My favorite was Bad because the cover and the leather jacket.
Yeah.
It's just awesome.
That's good stuff.
So I start making my own mixtapes on like recording on like cassettes and like put this song here, this that, and that's how I got introduced like more to mixing music together. And then I start like learning English because of songs. So let's say I start hearing Eminem after a while, and he's one
so
of
you
my
learn English
inspirations.
listening to Eminem? I'm not sure that's a good thing. There's a lot of bad words.
Well,
there.
actually, yes. Actually, I remember the first time I told my friend, he speaks English very well, American English, and I was like, can you write the chorus of Forget About Dre in Arabic the way you pronounce it in English?
Yeah.
And he laughed at me. He was like, no, I'm not doing this. He was like, no, you have to do it. And he was like, no, I'm just like, I can't read the words in English letters. I just want to know how you can pronounce them correctly.
How hard
So
is
he
that?
wrote it, and he
That's
started telling everyone about me. He was like, yeah, I wrote this. And I start memorizing it, and that's when I start like getting more into rapping, and I want to rap because I loved it. And then I start writing my own lyrics. So that's how I got into hip hop. I start like performed, got into a band, and got out in another band, and it's just like a long journey. I recorded 2 albums, didn't get out. 2 experiences in my life, and they were big disappointments. And there's like a big period between them. Like, so we're talking about 2004 and 2005, the first album. After recording 15 tracks, we have only the outro, and the band just want to cancel the whole work.
Wow.
And I was in the front line with the studio owner, like making the deal, and everything was on me. Didn't pay anything. So we didn't even pay deposit for the studio. He trusted us. So it was a big disappointment in my career. I was like young. I was like 17 years old.
You were one of the younger people in the band?
We were the same age, probably, all of us, almost. Yeah.
So you got stuck with things a little bit?
I got stuck with things, like with that album, and then the second album, it was the opposite way. We actually paid in advance, and then the studio closed and took the tracks and never gave them. We go forward. When the age of 23, I decided to be independent, and then I went to Beirut and for auditioning for Arabs Got Talent. And we have like kind of the American AGT, but we have the AGT, Arabs Got Talent. And for casting for it, and I did the casting, and I had money only for 2 days, so someone met me there, like a skateboarder. He was like, why don't you stay here? You have good music. And I was like, that's not enough. I don't have a job. I don't have money. And it was like, if I can find you a job, and I don't have a place to stay. It was like, if I find you a job, will you stay? I was like, yeah. And he just took me to his cousin and started working as a runner for $350 a month as a salary.
Wow.
And I was homeless. The first month I was just like sleeping on sidewalks. It was summertime, so I didn't mind doing it. Me being homeless on that corner, specifically at a place called Dumtex in Hamra.
Dumtex in Hamra?
Yeah, in Hamra Street.
And where is this?
In Beirut.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I was lost.
Yeah, every night when that shop closed, there's some musicians comes there and start jamming in that corner at the night. They bring their own beer. Spot. Yeah, and I start jamming with them, and then I was like, I have this project, I have this album that I recorded before leaving Syria, and we recorded that album in 1 day. Actually, we finished recording it. I got your copy. Actually, I'll give it to you.
I would love that. Absolutely, thank you.
Yeah, so. And I got the material with me. It's mixed and mastered, but I didn't get it on hard copy. So when I start working in Lebanon, I put it in hard copy later.
Okay.
So I told these guys, like, I have this fusion project, and I would like to play with you like some Middle Eastern music with Arabic hip hop. Mm-hmm. And they don't like hip hop, but they agreed to do it.
Okay.
They were like, yeah, we're feeling good playing with you, so let's do it. And we started doing it. We did that first show. It was at a place called Te Marbulta, and we got like almost sold out. Like we had 90 people in that place. It's a restaurant. And it was awesome. It was a blast. And then we started just playing together. So I did 8 shows in Lebanon under the name of Bilad El-Sham movement as a fusion music between Arabic hip hop and Middle Eastern music. And yeah, we did 8 shows. I did them from like all of them by myself, and I learned how to be independent and got into like communications and music business in there. So
cutting your teeth.
Yeah.
That is really fun to hear about. It occurred to me that you're speaking in Arabic, or you're rapping Arabic, so you could be saying fish, walla walla, watermelon, and I love tomatoes. And nobody would know, but it would sound
I sing a lot of songs like this, by the way. Just like
yes, I wish I could do that. That's like a superpower. Nobody knows what I'm saying,
but she knows.
They're listening.
But that's the only thing that she knows. Like I'll make up a song in Arabic, and she will be laughing because she understands.
He translates everything to me, and when we translate his music, we do it together.
I learned English because I didn't understand the rapping first.
Yeah.
You know, like. Americans don't do that usually. Like,
what do you mean?
Listen to Arabic rap, they won't learn Arabic because I want to understand this song.
I think
that was just the punchline. You know, me as a rapper,
I'm a little
I have
slow
like
tonight, guys. I'm sorry. So this guy too. I'm glad you seem like you're in a good mood because you didn't. It's not that you didn't seem like you're in a good mood earlier. We've been hanging out here for like an hour and a half, just straight chilling. And we had some delicious food from one of Bangor's greatest food establishments. If you've never been there, I didn't know it existed. Kebab Den on Hammond Street. Mohammad Kahn. Mohammad Kahn gonna serve you right. He gonna make you the right way. He gonna make you that rice that tastes just the way you know it. That tastes like Mideastern food. Anyway, Kebab Den, it's really good. Anyway,
I have stories, but like sometimes this is the thing. Actually, and it's mostly like represent in my music is that I do dark sarcasm all the time. And actually,
cool.
that's how I talk about my problem all the time. Sometimes you get
Dark
bothered by it or
sarcasm.
overwhelmed because I just
It's a
like
Pink Floyd lyric, everybody.
it was
Isn't
like it's like if something terrible happened, I would just like make fun of it.
When I first met him, I thought that he was completely full of shit. And then,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, this is
Oh
not
man,
gonna last.
I can make some.
And then-
I can make some jokes. I can make some. I'm gonna wait until we're a little more chummy.
And
Keep
then
going. This
I
is
met
great.
all of his friends, and his friends would come over and start like, oh yeah, remember the time that we like, in some ridiculous story, and they started corroborating all of them, and I was like, oh no, he's had so much happen to him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some people do like
Yeah.
tell stories, but they're tall tales.
But they're humorous. Like Syrians have a gift for
Really?
humor.
Yeah, when we talk, like, let's say I'm sitting with a bunch of Americans and I'll be like, oh yeah, I've been to Palmyra prison. And I was like, what is that? It's a desert, like it's a prison in the middle of the desert.
Like
it's
a
a
cage.
military, it's a military
Sun,
prison.
ice
And they took
sand,
my clothes
there's a
off.
camel over there.
And you just tell them, like, I took my clothes off and I was naked. And
What
like,
the
can you
fuck,
imagine?
man?
I'm laughing
Are
and
you
people
fucking
are like,
serious?
and they were like, what? And I was like, yeah, and they have to shave you, like all of you.
Y'all heard of Guantanamo
while you're
Bay.
naked.
Y'all heard of Guantanamo Bay.
And
This
people-
motherfucker did it
Yes.
before it was fashionable.
They call it
That's
actually.
dope, right?
Actually,
You're an innovator,
they call
man.
it the second
Damn.
Guantanamo of Middle East.
Oh, it sounds
like,
fucking
because
heinous. It sounds really
and
bad.
people will be like getting anxious, and I'm laughing. I'm just like telling that story. I'm like blasting and smiling, and like people
Wow.
are getting anxious, and it's like how we can tell these stories and be
Yeah,
that positive
I know
or
what you're
optimistic.
saying. I've heard
Yeah.
stories like that where
Let's
get it,
uplift
yeah.
the
Yeah.
conversation. That's
Yeah.
what people say here. Like let's uplift
come
the
on.
conversation.
You've heard those actual words.
But this is my life.
directed at
You
you?
need to meet me and know who I am, where I come from.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hear your first world problems all the time. You have to hear
Oh,
the
man,
third
I
world
love it.
problems
Yes.
a little bit.
Yes, it brings perspective, people. It brings perspective, and that's something that we sorely need in this country.
Yeah, actually, I was a black sheep growing up because of doing hip hop by itself. Like as I told you earlier, I was
It's very
bullied.
unique, man. This-
I was
very
bullied
unique.
for that. So that's why I become like me. Actually, that created my personality to be just brutal, honest person. I'm not afraid of anything. It's just
Yeah.
and like actually, I faced even in Malaysia. I tried to go record in a studio, and the guy who owns the studio, the first question that when I met him, and he was like, "What's your religion?"
Oh fuck, that's not.
I was like,
HR.
yeah, and I was like, I'm in Malay. It's a Muslim country, you know.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
and I'm wearing like a tank top. I'm full of tattoos, and he was like, "What's your religion?" And I was like, "I don't have a religion." And he was like, "Are you Muslim?" I was like, "No." I was like, then Christian?" I was like, "No." He was like, "Jews?" I was like, "No."
There is
Nothing.
something. There is another.
I'm just like,
option.
I was like, I'm nothing. He was shocked. He's like, "You don't have God?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't have. Do I
Yeah,
need
that's
one?" I was like,
awkward.
"That is just."
I probably. You seem like jovial about it. I'm not sure. I would have
And-
probably dismissed the guy pretty rapidly.
Yeah, no, I actually.
like not even entertained him at all.
We-
or
we-
really,
Yeah.
I might have been mean there a little bit and
See,
then walked
Zach's
away.
not afraid to like just be completely honest and like let the person react in whatever way they react.
Can we move on and talk about music business? And he was like, yeah. And then he gave me a price, was like very high price. Like I can go record to him in a better, way better studios in less than that. Just because he knows that I'm not Muslim or I don't have a religion.
Oh.
And then I knew that
Yeah, he
because
tried
my
to
friend.
price you out. That's
No,
what he
I
tried
knew
to
this.
do.
I'm not trashing the
yeah.
person because my friend who suggested him to me, he meet me later. He was like, "Why did you do that? Why you say that you're not Muslim? You just like just go with
Right.
the flow and tell him you're Muslim." He's like, "What? You want me to lie?" He's like,
So you're
I
a
mean,
guy
like,
who
I
likes
have
to tell the truth.
principles and I follow my
Yeah.
principles. I'm not gonna change my principles to get a discount for recording.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
that like
that's what the
closed-minded
fence is. I
part of
wanted
the
to know a
traditions.
little
I don't
more.
like. I don't want to represent that. I want to try to
Wow.
avoid that.
Yeah, but you're
And
clean.
Sounds
share
like
the
a
positive
minefield.
part.
It really. I'm hearing what you're laying down, and it sounds like a minefield. It sounds like a really tricky environment to operate
Yeah.
in.
that helped like create my personality, and that's like what created Assasi. So
Did you look different then? You had a lot of looks, actually. That's a whole thing too.
I think the way I dress it was always different. So
You know, at the point when you decide, you know, this is dangerous where I'm at, I need to make a change. So you were a refugee, there's a war going on. What's going on in Syria? You know, why is it dangerous? And then what happened to get you where you are? You're in Bangor now.
I am not a refugee actually. I was never
Oh,
a
okay.
refugee before,
Well,
and
excuse me on that
it's
then.
no, you know, you're good. But I take it as like it's an honorable thing. It's not like, oh, I am not a refugee. It's just because there's a lot of people going through a lot of shit more than I went through.
Yeah, you
so
wouldn't
like
wanna
I
try
see
to
my
take away
people
from
problems.
Their issues.
I've been through a lot, but
Yeah,
there's
clearly,
people like
clearly,
way
obviously.
deeper than me. You know, like their life
Yeah.
been ruined. They
There's
lost everything.
always somebody that's got
literally.
it worse. I mean, there's some
And-
crap out there people are going through.
I was
And there's
lucky a
people
little
in
bit.
camps, you know, living in
outside.
the dirt, you
Yes.
know, in the mud, freezing to death with their kids in the valleys in Lebanon. Like,
Wow.
and even if they're in a decent camp, like they're wasting away in that camp for literally decades, you know. Actually, my first job was teaching at a school in northern Somalia, and I met a few
That's
people.
a rough neighborhood, isn't it?
Actually, the North Somaliland, it's
That's like Disney World.
it's like Disney World.
They got running
with, like,
water.
none
They
of
got
the
like
things.
bullets aren't flying. Apparently, I'm guessing.
It's very safe. There's a part of the North that's a breakaway country, and it's not formally recognized by the UN and stuff, but it has its own democratically elected government and its own military force and everything. And like, but I met people who had been through that there and read a lot about it. And then when I went to Lebanon,
For
several
teaching.
years later, to teach there as well, I learned about it more in that context and how it works there. So, you know, these people come in, even there's, you know, Palestinian camps in Beirut still from 1967 and 1973. Like, there's still people in camps in the city in Beirut now. I mean, there's people here who have lived in horrifying conditions, and in some places systematically horrifying conditions. But if you can get yourself bus fare, you can leave, right?
Okay, right.
The thing about, you know, people in Lebanon, like the Palestinians in Lebanon and the Syrians in Lebanon, and you know, other places where you have people who are running away from stuff, like they don't have those options. You know,
Okay,
they
very
go where they
limited.
can go,
Yeah.
and they scrape by, you know, under the table, you know, until they can't anymore.
And
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind just asking one other question about your background, because I don't think you mentioned what you actually teach, but you're a history professor?
I used
or-
to be a history
Used to.
teacher.
That's what led you to go to all these places.
Yeah.
And you're teaching what history?
It was a mix. When I was in Somaliland, I helped design a curriculum for that school. We put together like an African history, a year of African history, so they could, you know, kind of learn about
The rest of
the
Africa?
context
Like,
of their continent. You know,
because they're, you know, kind of maybe myopic, they don't get to go everywhere kind of thing?
well, are they? You know, a lot of times when history is taught overseas, in English especially, it will be taught. It'll be Western history that's taught.
Yeah, okay.
And so they
That
don't
makes
they don't
sense.
learn
I
about
mean,
like World War I and World War II through an American or a British perspective,
Mm-hmm.
instead of learning about their own context. So I tried to put together a course that was
wow, that's
relevant to
interesting.
them, and then we moved on to the world history stuff,
Okay.
and like civics and learning about, you know, comparative government and
Wow.
stuff.
Wow.
I built my own textbook. We had a library made out of basically like, there's this organization called Books for Africa, and they'll put together a bunch of donated books
Books
into
for
a shipping
Africa.
container, and they'll send it to you because it's hard to get things in Africa.
Oh,
so you have
right.
to
It's a
make
big
it
area.
worthwhile, you have to get a whole shipping container together. So for the African history course, I had like 6 different textbooks.
And you had to Frankenstein them
I had to
together
Frankenstein it,
to make it.
and I ordered a
what
few
they
in
needed.
from people traveling.
That's-
So I taught history. I came home for a little while, and then I went to Yemen and I taught English to adults, and that was amazing. And then I went to Lebanon, and that's where I met Zach. I was working there as a high school teacher.
Okay, so you were a high school teacher. You met Zach in Lebanon,
Mm-hmm.
and I do have one question about the history thing.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it that, you know, white people are going to Africa teaching history? I mean, do they just not have enough teachers, and that's why there's a, you know, an industry for it?
When I went, it was like, woo, we're going to go save the kids in Africa kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know?
passionate, it's new, and
Yeah.
you care a lot.
And people weren't questioning that at that point as much as they do now. You know what I mean?
Oh, what do you mean?
I
Like
think
nowadays?
now people have a more nuanced understanding of what the like international aid, you know, situation is and how it's not always helpful.
Yeah, they don't like. You don't want to give $1 if you think that
Right.
only like 5 cents is going to go to the right people, and the rest is going to get like line in somebody's pockets.
Yeah, and also like the just sort of like people going and trying to do something good, but they aren't listening to the locals and they end up fucking things up.
Okay.
Is it okay if I swear?
I think I did it multiple times. I figured it's not
can
TV.
bleep it out.
And people definitely swear. I swear at my songs.
Yeah, I just say
Nobody knows
bullshit,
if you're
and it's
saying
just-
it because it's in Arabic. They're like,
just
man,
said it
everything
again.
sounds like a swear. Man, that guy's got a potty mouth. He's like, I can't do it. I can't. I would just sound like really racist if I started trying to do Arabic right now.
That's a
I would do
problem.
it, but
That's a problem too for me in
What's that?
English
Yeah.
and Arabic. I swear a lot, like when I
Alright.
talk. Like that's me.
passion, man, and honesty.
Yeah.
Honesty. Swear. People that swear, they're
I have
honest,
to watch
That's what
out
they
all the
say.
time as
passionate,
kids.
trustworthy.
Yeah. It's
Hey
right.
man, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I do it in
swear a
Arabic
lot.
mostly in here,
Oh
so
man,
people
that's
don't
Yeah,
dope.
understand.
You gotta teach us some
She
swears.
does too. She
Hey,
does
write
it at
that
work.
down. Make sure
She
we get
swears
some
in Arabic.
swears.
If someone's bothering you, tell easy.
Oh man.
Lick my ass.
Oh, that's a different one? I thought that was the
Yeah.
same one. That was like, oh, what was that?
That's different,
It
yeah.
sounds greasy. What is that?
Um,
Look at this CC. How do you say that?
Tallahassee
Tallahassee.
is like lick.
Lick. Tallahassee.
Pleasy is my
My
ass.
butthole.
Tallahassee. Easy, yeah.
Well,
It's like
well, the easiest one that comes to my mind all the time is like khara. You know,
Khara.
Khara is shit. Khara means shit.
Khara.
Yeah, khara is like khara. Same khara, different
That is so
smell.
fun.
Yeah.
Different smell.
Same khara,
Sounds the
different
same. All right.
This is the thing. I swear when I talk, but I don't swear when I rap.
You don't?
No.
But Eminem does.
I'm
Don't you
cool.
like Eminem?
Well, I do swear sometimes, like just say khara,
Just
like
poking.
shit.
I don't know what I'm doing over
No,
here.
say shit or stuff like that. Yes,
Yeah.
but like I don't swear for real. You know, like
Oh, I like the dark stuff. I think it's
I like darkness a lot.
Yeah.
yeah,
I feel
that's
like
cool.
this is my area. It's just
the
Yeah.
darkness.
dark.
You're
Yeah.
the dark knight.
It helped me to develop actually my voice too a lot. So I start like using more nasal with my Arabic.
Resonance.
Like resonant
Resonance.
and start like rapping like instead of now you hear me talking like this and when I start rapping like you know like the sound will comes like from here.
Different places. It's
Yeah.
not your speaking
Yeah.
So
voice.
it's like "Hal anni,
Gosh,
Muhammad," yeah.
you know, there's
It's
a lot
different.
of stuff that's interesting about music, and one of them is that when you get brain injuries or you get really old and stuff like that, you can't remember a lick, right? But sometimes they can remember songs and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
what I'm hearing you say is like, you know, and when you're just speaking, the physicality of it, when you're speaking, you speak the way you speak. And then when you're singing, though, it might be a real different physical thing. But it's definitely a different mental thing. Singing or rapping, I assume. I do not know anything about rap, except for I know what I like. And I got a few favorites, and now you're one of them, and I straight jam out. And I got to tell you, I do have to tell you, today, so I'm going to the ATM, get some cashola, and I'm jamming out. I don't remember what song it was. It might have been Damaged, because I listened to that on repeat, man. Oh, I love that song, and I love the video. So I'm straight jamming out, and it's somewhat spring-like. It's only like 40, you know, so... And I get the windows down, I'm rolling up, and there's a car there apparently, and there's a girl walks out, she says, it's some really good music. I'm like, oh girl, you're gonna get an earful. Oh, that's my man Assasi. I'm gonna be interviewing him tonight. Do you know this man? And he said, no. I said, well, and no, it was really cool. She was cool.
That's awesome.
She started intimating to me that she does music or she's done music. She said, and her name is Tristan Lane. Tristan said that she put stuff online, right? And there were some haters out there hating. And for that reason, she decided to stop.
Like, sometimes, every once in a while, he'll get a really ignorant comment on something.
Okay.
And it's not even like...
Okay.
You have to understand, like,
Yeah.
these young guys in Syria, like, they don't have a lot going on.
This isn't Syria we're
Yeah,
talking.
a lot of them, or even the ones that are outside the country, but they don't have a lot of going on. A lot of them aren't in school. Like, they're just kind
Yeah.
of sitting around existing.
Sometimes it gets brutal. Like they write brutal shit on your video
Oh my
for
gosh.
no reason.
That's so
And
disrespectful.
like I have this guy literally one time, he was like literally saying that. It was like, I'll rape your sister,
Oh,
and
there
something
it
like
is.
that.
Wow.
And I was like, I just got back to him. I was like, first of all, my sister has nothing to do with this song. She didn't write it. She didn't produce it. She's like, you don't have to bring her to this situation. Second of all, like...
That seems reasonable. I mean, that
Yeah, and I was
seems
like,
logical.
second of all, why? It was like, what?
Yeah, really? What is the
does
motivation
make you,
there?
what
Be
did I... It's
so
just a song. It's a
hateful.
music video. I'm rapping. I'm not offending anyone. Why? Like, why? And he was like...
Troll.
and his reason was like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were disrespectful. It was like, what, are you testing my patience? There's one time I shared like an Instagram story.
Man, going religion again.
It's Eminem rapping. This guy, the Sheikh, is saying is like, so Uthman is like one of the Prophet's relatives. And he was like, he used to read the whole Quran in one pray. And I was like, the whole Quran, it's like a whole
Yeah, it's a pretty big
book.
book.
You know,
There's a lot
like,
of
you need
words.
a
They're big
whole-
on words, I understand.
Yeah, you need a whole
The
day to
Quran.
read that thing. It was like, it's not logical to read it in one pray. You know, like it's that. It's just like, unless you're praying for 24 hours or 72 hours
Yeah.
non-stop reading the Quran.
is this like a real thing? Like he was actually
No,
saying
it's
that
it's
there
like
was-
it's just a
It's
fiction.
like a legend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a legend.
I thought somebody was like, yeah, I did that, and like, oh, okay.
So they put Eminem in a Rap God song and rapping sonic speed, and he was like to the sonic speed, and they start putting the
Quran
names-
words? Words from
No,
the
not
Quran?
Quran, not
Oh,
the
okay.
words. The name of the chapters. You
Oh.
know? So he was like,
Oh,
and
okay.
like, they
that's
put the name
cool.
of the chapters,
Wow,
and
that's
it was
really neat.
hilarious. It was like, yeah, this is like nobody can read the Quran
it's
in
like one of
pray.
those songs that makes you learn we had the 16 counties of our state, or, you know.
Yeah, it's funny, and I shared it, and people like gotta laugh at it mostly, and there's one guy like just got so offended. He was like,
Yeah,
"Can't
people
do
do.
this."
People do.
And I was like, blah blah blah, and it was like I just woke up and saw his message and was sitting like in my bed, and I just video called him.
Oh my God, that's so cool! What
I'm
a
like,
smart
just
thing! I don't
in
think
my
that would
bed.
occur to anybody. That's all you gotta do. If you're on Facebook and you mess, you can. I mean, they can pick it up or not. I mean, obviously, but
The first reaction on his
Golly,
face,
that's
you have to
messed
see
up.
his face. I called him, and he was like,
what the fuck?
and I was like, what's up? And he was like,
What's up? What were you saying? I couldn't
and he was
understand what
like-
you're saying. Could tell me more.
Yeah, and he was like insulting me very bad, and I was like,
Yeah.
and
He was
"What's up?
trolling you.
What's wrong? And he's like, no, nothing, but you know, you can't say that
I
because
can
it's
totally
haram,
hear this.
and you can't share this. And it was like, listen, first of all, it's not your business. Second of all, I'm sorry if you got offended by this story. That's not the purpose of it. And I know in religion very well that you can't put Quran words with music. They didn't put Quran
Yeah,
words.
it's
They
not
put the
Quran
name
words.
of the chapter.
They're chapters.
So that's okay. I'm not breaking any laws in the Muslim community or offending the Muslim. I grew up as a Muslim. So if you're offended, I'm sorry, but that's not personal. And just goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
And
you hung up?
And
You
he
hung up?
apologized. No,
Oh,
he was like, I'm sorry.
Wow,
I just.
this is like remarkable stuff. This is like a real human, like fucking. It's like a movie, is what it's
I
like.
just
you
like
know?
to come for
It's so funny, or at least hopefully a good YouTube video, right?
Would be.
It's gold to me, man. I love your stories. I
the troll
really could
whisperer.
just listen to it all night long. I do think, well, you know, we've almost got to the point where you're like landing in Bangor, Maine, and you guys decide this is the place you want to be, you know, doing music, and you know, working at University of Maine, and working in Bangor, and doing music in the Bangor area,
Yeah.
and Assasi, and so that's where we're at. Why don't we take a little break and just, you know, do something else, and then
Yes.
cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Cha-cha.
Thank you.